Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be joined by a very young, talented fighter coming out of Perth, Australia, the WBC Asian Silver Champion, Jackson England. How are you, my friend?
Good. Thanks for having us.
No problem, mate. So, yeah, been looking quite a lot of the stuff down under from here. Obviously, I've been covering the Maloney brothers quite a bit. And I actually did some stuff on Anthony Mundine a few years back when he was like really fighting for like, big world titles and stuff like that. And I've come across you and your style. You've been, obviously you won this title, and I've been watching Tony's shows anyway from afar. And yeah, you've been doing, you're quite young, you're only 22. And you're really like stamping your authority on your opponents. You got 7 knockouts from what, 12 wins. So yeah, tell us a bit about yourself.
No, well, I grew up in Western Sydney. I moved here to Perth when I was about 11.
Oh, right, 11, you're from Sydney.
Yeah, from down in Penrith Way, down there. So I grew up around there, and then I spent a lot of my time over here in Perth, and I would go back and forth from Sydney just to see family and just to be around there and stuff. But it was actually, boxing was always a big interest. I absolutely loved it. And my father fought professionally. His father fought. Both my uncles both fought, and their father as well. Yeah. So when coming over here, I was a little bit and ahhing because I love music as well. I love to dance. I love to do lots of things, and I always had a really big passion for boxing. And then it was actually my stepdad, when we first moved over, he asked what I wanted to do, and I said I'd love to box, and he was actually the one to help me get on in there and start boxing.
So you've just had it coming in from all. So you say your stepdad, and your dad as well. So yeah, both into boxing. So just everyone's into boxing. Yeah. Okay. So who were like your inspirations as like as a kid growing up? Like which fighters did you watch?
Favorite fighter of all time, Sugar Ray Leonard. Absolutely love everything the man did. You know, not only a gentleman of the sport, but just able to do everything. You know, like back, not taking anything away from nowadays fighters, but those guys back in the day, they didn't just fight for, you know, money or, you know, fame or anything like that. It was to fight. They loved to fight, and they loved to get in there. And the best thing about Sugar Ray Leonard is that he could do everything. You know, he could, if he wanted to brawl, he could brawl. If he wanted to box, he'd box. If he wanted to move, he'd move as well. So I just admire and love watching how he puts everything together. It's like art. Yeah,
like art. Just and anyone else? Anyone else?
Growing up watching, you know, like obviously the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard, but even now at the moment, like you look at your, you know, one of the best fighters at the moment, like Vasyl Lomachenko, even Floyd Mayweather, all them guys. But you know, you can't go past any of them because around, obviously I'm only 22, so watching all these guys that are around that time, I was like, I think I watched Mayweather fight Canelo, and a lot of people were skeptical on if Mayweather was going to lose, but he was never going to lose from that fight, even though Canelo's an absolute beast. And if the fight happened now, who knows what would happen, but Canelo's an absolute machine. But at that time, he wasn't necessarily ready for Floyd.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's just my opinion on that.
Who was ready for Floyd?
Who was? Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, he was class. Exactly right. Absolute class. Yeah, you talk about those fighters there, and I've been watching your fights, and you're not messing around in there, man. You're trying to get rid of people as quickly as possible. It appears anyway. Even in your fights, you go in the distance. These are wide point decisions. There's one loss on your record, but that seems well in the past. And well, you must have been in your teens then, so yeah, that's long. That doesn't really seem to matter. What's your philosophy at the moment going forward especially all this coronavirus, and opportunities don't seem to be that few and far between is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah.
How are you
Well,
dealing with that at the moment?
well, I'm a bit of a workhorse. I train 2-3 times a day, almost pretty much every day, and
Anyway, yeah,
that's
even
it.
off season, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not one
Huh?
to really sit still. Like I trained this morning as well. I'm not one to really sit still, but also being able to, because I train people as well with
Yeah.
my coach, and I think because since I'm constantly on the go training other people, I always want to train myself, and then also I'm just happy for any opportunity to fight anyone, anywhere. I love the fight, you know, like I love the fight to get in there for any opportunity. So you got to always be ready. You never know when you might get a call or you might get someone say, hey, you got to be ready in 2-3 weeks. And I know that I can back myself because I know that I'm pushing myself pretty much every single time, and I can be ready in that short amount of time.
Okay, I love to hear this. I love to hear
Yeah.
this. Very interesting. And I'll tell you why. Because I was talking to your stablemate, Francis Chua, and obviously two other fighters who are doing some big things out in America, the Maloney twins, who are all with Tony as well. Same philosophy. Any fight, anywhere, any when. All seem to be living quite healthy as well, and you know, always in the gym, consummate professionals. That's interesting. So has that always been sort of your mindset, or is that something that's gradually been built into you?
No, I've always been that way, you know, because
Yeah.
in my eyes, you know, like even working with the teammates I've got, and then seeing where the Maloney boys are, like they're absolutely killing it, you know, and seeing how hard work and dedication can really get you, it shows massively. It's awesome for Australian boxing as well, and to have that mindset, I've always been determined to make sure that I can be the best of my ability at least, and I'm very confident in my ability, in my skill set, in my strength, in everything. So I think when it comes to having that mindset, I can't really say I've never doubted myself at a point where I'll just chill out. I won't train. I won't worry about it. I can have a couple of days off or anything like that. Even if I have a day off, I still find myself doing 8 rounds of shadow boxing with body weight out the back of the house. So I can't sit still. You know, I've got to be doing something, and I'm determined to you know, the goal of professional boxing is to be a world champion. And I know I'm only 22. I can take my time, but I can take my time, but I do dream to be a world champion, and that's no matter how long it takes me or whatever obstacles come into my way. That's all I want to achieve.
Well, you're with you're under the stewardship of a man who's got a couple of world champions under his belt.
Exactly
The
right.
likes of Chris John, and you've got Maloney and worked on loads of amazing things. How's you've got you were in the gym with him today, I believe. How's that being with Tony and working alongside some of those like the Maloney boys? How's that? That must be really
I think
cool.
it's great. You know, like, I think it's great. You know, I haven't actually had a chance to meet the Maloney boys. I can't wait
Oh,
to.
no,
You know, no, I haven't had a chance. I'd like hopefully one day I get to. But
yeah, I'm sure you will.
you know, like having Tony be there and like be a part of like us to be a part of his, you know, team and him help us out and everything. You know, like even like Francis, one of the other boys, Steve, who fights out with us as well. You know, we all sharpen each other up, and even at the gym last night, you know, Tony being there and being amongst us training, he gets to see firsthand what we're doing, you know, and he can actually see himself what we're doing, you know, sparring each other, looking at each other. You know, it's very different to someone who might not be there and maybe just assumes what people are doing, but he's right there in it, you know, like Tony's one of the best guys I've ever met, you know, and he, even having the Maloney boys, like taking them to, you know, to fight on the Top Rank show recently, throughout this whole pandemic as well. It's bloody amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah, how have you dealt with that, the pandemic? It hasn't been too bad in
Oh,
Perth, everyone's telling me. So life's kind of gone on okay there compared to the rest of Australia. Is that right?
yeah, yeah. Well, I look at some of the family over east in Sydney, and it's a lot more harsh and hectic over there. Even some friends, and looking at how it was over here. Obviously, we had our little lockdown sort of thing here, and we were staying in the house, me and my partner and everything, and we were staying here. But I was just training out the back. I had a bit of a setup that I was going for, and then I was going for a run. She was coming on a bike ride with me as well. So we'll keep him active. Yeah, keep him busy and active, but I couldn't sit in the house. Like I had an apartment before. I had to break lease from the apartment. I would have been cooped up.
Oh yeah, do you know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah.
luckily where I am, well, I usually go between Latvia and UK, but luckily I just stayed in Latvia, so we got no corona here really. So yeah,
right. That's
yeah,
that's
so
safe.
it's
It's really
been
good.
yeah, but yeah, talking to people back in England, similar
Yeah.
situations. So what are you looking to do next? Well, like in a perfect world, you say you're going on for a world champion. Obviously, maybe domestic fights are in the horizon because that's easier to do with the restrictions.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah.
at Box Rec right now in the super featherweight division. We got some pretty interesting things going on. We got Billy Dib, we got Bilal Dib, we got maybe even a bit of Nathaniel May. Maybe these are the bigger names, but there's even there's some decent names there. Even
Yeah.
down at featherweight, we've got some good stuff going on. I don't know, TJ Dehaney, Luke Jackson, maybe down the line somewhere. But what do you
Yeah.
want to do next, man? What do you want to do next?
Well, at the end of the day, I know how hard I'm pushing myself, and I know that you do have to make the sacrifices to be a professional boxer. It's not just a walk in the park. So like being able to put yourself in there and have any opportunity arise, you got to be ready for. And I won my first title at featherweight because I can make both. I can make super feather and feather.
Okay.
So I won the Australian title at feather, and I haven't been challenged for that yet. So no one's fought me for that. And then I went on to win the WBC Asia Silver title. So I hold both of them at the moment, and
Nice.
I feel whichever opportunity arises, I know that me and my team, especially me and my coach and stuff, like we work very, very well together. And he's the best. Having Tony on our side as well and helping us out as well. I couldn't ask for a better team behind me. And even my family, my friends, a lot of them are great support as well.
Mm.
But I think if any opportunities come up at feather or super feather, even if it was at lightweight, I know I can be there and be able to move around with anybody, because I'm confident in my ability, but you also got to be humble in yourself. And, like I've never ever thought of myself more or overcoming or better than anybody else. I feel everybody has the same opportunities in life. You just got to take them. And, like I'm just confident in myself. And even the likes of like TJ Dehaney, like I've been sparring TJ recently as well. Like me and TJ have been sparring throughout.
Yeah.
Before his last, yeah. TJ's the man. He's honestly, he's awesome.
Fight,
to have to have the opportunity to spar a former world champion, like it's absolute class. And he's made me lift even more to a level from just sparring him and everything. Like when he was getting ready for his last fight in Dubai, we were sparring 8 rounds, maybe 3-4 times a week. And then when the pandemic and the lockdown kind of happened and stuff, we kind of just took a bit of a break because he fought, then I fought, and then everyone was at a standstill. And then once everything over here started to come back to a kind of normal, we've been catching up and sparring. We'll do like 6 rounds here and there if he's able to make it and stuff, because he's got stuff on. He's busy. I think he's looking, from when I last spoke to him, he's looking to fight either in the US or the UK or something.
Yeah.
And
he's with
Matchroom. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's all right, isn't he? He's doing all right.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he is a fantastic fighter. Let's talk about that Australian boxing, man. I like a lot of British people. I went to Australia for a few months and did the traveling around thing, working in bars and stuff. Great time, great time. And I started looking at the boxing stuff a bit more. and it's got a real rich history when you look
Oh
at
yeah,
some of the
yeah,
fighters.
yeah,
And I had the pleasure to interview Anthony Mundine when I first started covering boxing. Like, wow, man, it's like 5 years ago now, and I've been doing it
yeah.
on and off since. More so, much more now. And that story was great, but there seems to be a lot going on. First of all, what's your opinion on Australian boxing right now?
Right now, it's
Obviously, apart
it
take
is.
away the pandemic. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Australian boxing right now, honestly, with the likes of Tim Tszyu and
Yeah.
obviously Horn. Yeah, obviously Horn and him had their fight, and Horn obviously went on his way out in that fight. And for Horn to get Pacquiao over here years ago to fight, and he won that world title, it put Australian boxing really on the map. And then once obviously the Maloney boys, they did the exact same thing. So I think with Australian boxing, a lot, I don't know, a lot of places or a lot of people kind of look at Australian boxing as like, oh, they're there, but they're not all the way there. But now, at the moment, you've got the Maloney boys, you've got Tim Tszyu, you had Horn, who had a world title. You look at Anthony Mundine. Like you look at all the people like Wild Will Tomlinson. Like you look at all these people, Jeff Fennick, Costa Tszyu. You look at all these people, and I'm a big boxing history fanatic as well. And all these people, some people in the world underrate them, but it's world class. It really is. And to win a world title, even Lucas Brown, like Lucas was training with us for about a year, and
Lucas,
to be able to train around, someone like Lucas, who's a former world champion as well. It's it's a great experience. It really is. And then to even spar TJ, and I think boxing at the moment in Australia, I think it's starting to really make a mark now, like with the Maloney boys and Tim Tszyu. Like at the moment, it's really starting to, some real good talents coming out of Australia now.
So, because obviously in Australia, your sports there, you got Aussie Rules Football. Is that an Aussie Rules Football shirt you've got on there?
No,
it's just because it's got the sleeves. But you got Aussie Rules Football, which is absolutely mental, by the way. Love it when I want to go and watch it. Cricket and rugby. And then is boxing 4 or is it 5, even behind soccer or football?
I'd say the biggest ones here would be Aussie Rules, boxing, and
boxing's
rugby.
second, yeah.
Well, I'm obviously going to be biased. But in a perfect world, boxing would be, if they could put a lot of focus in the boxing scene, then it'd be
cricket
massive.
Must be above boxing.
Oh no, cricket's pretty big, but I don't really watch it.
But not for you, but for Australian sport.
For Australian, yeah, cricket is pretty big. I think a lot of when it comes to the boxing, like I even know, like when we went down to the local pub around here, and Tim Tszyu and the Horn fight, the place was lined up out the door, like it was.
Good news, great stuff, yeah. I remember.
That's good to see, though.
Yeah, I want to watch a trip down memory lane. I want to go and watch Hatton get flattened by Pacquiao in Brisbane, of all places, at 11 o'clock in the morning. And it was in a casino, and it was like thousands of people. It was packed out. So
it does show that the Australian people do love the boxing. Like even going back with you mentioned about Mundine, and then like even his dad, Tony Mundine and stuff.
I love his story. It's so cool.
Yeah, like it is. Like even I look at my dad and the history behind them. So
tell us a bit about that.
So my dad fought professionally. He did. I think he had maybe 8 fights max. He was ranked number 3 in Australia in the super middleweight division. He was there with Anthony Mundine and Danny Green. And since my biological father's still in Sydney, so him and Mundine actually know each other. And then Tony Mundine knows my grandfather.
Okay.
As well. So my grandfather was Errol McIver, and he used to fight in the 10 fights, bare knuckle 10 fights, as well as normal boxing fights. Yeah, years ago, back in like the 60s and 70s. And him and Tony knew each other. And then my relatives, Noel and Ricky Thornbury, over in Queensland, and then their father, Trevor Thornbury, up in Gatton, Queensland and stuff. So the boxing history's there, but to hear the stories that I've heard from them, like them, obviously haystacks, you got the right around tent boxing where they drive all around the country of Australia, and people in the crowd, they just want to fight each other and get out there and fight. And yeah, it's amazing with Australian boxing. It reminds me a lot of the gypsies, like with the gypsy boxing and stuff,
So does it have any gypsy roots, or is it just guys wanting to fight each other? Is it not a gypsy thing?
I really don't know. I really don't know personally, but I know that because obviously I went back when I was younger to Sydney, and I went to a pub up in the city, and I was there with my dad, I was there with my cousin, I was there with a few people, and an old fella come up to us behind the bar, and he said, "Oh, your grandfather had a scuffle out the front here, and he used to come here every weekend, and he'd people would offer him to fight, and they'd give him money afterwards and stuff. Like he was like it's a wild world. Like you hear all the stories of old Australian boxing back in the day and stuff, and it is amazing where boxing has come from, where it used to be, to progressing now to a massive sport,
Yeah.
And like you look at how rough and rugged it used to be compared to now, it's all class, and it's amazing to see. It is really, really amazing to see.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I will be delving into that, my friend. I will be looking more into that. That sounds mental. Yeah. So one thing I wanted to ask you about fighting abroad. You're talking about all the stuff you've done in Australia. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to fight in your career? What have you been dreaming of since you were a child?
I'd love. Well, when we were meant to fight in the UK, me and Lucas had some fights scheduled in the UK. So I got the opportunity to fly to. Yeah, I got the opportunity to fly to. That was on. It was meant to be on a show in, what is it, York Hall. It was meant to be at York Hall, and it ended up not happening. It was like 2-3 days before the weigh-in.
Who was it against?
The guy who. Pardon?
Who against?
I'm actually not too sure the name. I can't remember now. I'll have to go back and look. But he was a fella there in the London area or whatever, and Lucas was meant to be fighting Tom Little, and Lucas didn't end up fighting. We didn't end up fighting because the promoter, or the guy who was sponsoring the event or holding the event, he actually didn't pay for the venue or anything. Like it all got messed around, and we found out 2-3 days before the fight, oh, it's not happening now. So we flew to the UK last minute just to get told we're not fighting, and then a couple of other fighters, like people from the US, flew over as well, and we were stranded. We didn't know what to do. We had to get our own flights home and everything. Like it was pretty hectic. And then when we were over there, I had an opportunity to go to the O2 Arena, and looking at it's different looking at the MGM Grand or Madison Square Garden or the O2 Arena like on TV. Once you're there, honestly, the atmosphere is unreal. And going there and being at the O2 Arena, we watched White versus Rivers. We were there for that fight, and
nice.
We're there for that. Pardon?
I was just saying nice. I was just saying cool. Please continue.
Oh yeah, no, bro. So we're there for that, and it was honestly it was like a dream. It was honestly like a dream. Like watching everybody walk out of the hall to step foot in the ring, the commentary, how electric the crowd can be. It was honestly, it's just how you see it on the TV, but 10 times better, like 10 times better. And yeah, I'm a big believer on showmanship. Like boxing at the end of the day is a performance, and like whether you see it as a fight or whether you see it as like a brawl or whatever, however you want to see it. At the end of the day, people have come there to see something that they've never seen before. So why not give them what they deserve? And You know, like I take every fight that I walk into as not only as a fight, but as a performance, another way to showcase my skills and my ability for people. People might be there and they'll never see me before. They've seen me fight and they're like, oh, I remember him now. I won't forget him. And that's obviously how you get your mark out there, how you make waves, how you create things. You know, you entertain people. And honestly, looking at how these people in the O2 were going off and going crazy, and just seeing how electric that crowd was, you picture yourself in that situation, and some people crumble under the pressure. If anything, it makes me lift more. It makes me lift more to the occasion, to have more fun with it.
So you got a real buzz off that when you were there, yeah?
Yeah.
Got a real buzz
Yeah.
off that. That's cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. You know, like I've danced and performed and done stuff like that. So I'm not a nervous person when it comes to the limelight, or when it comes to that sort of scenario and stuff. But honestly, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I can only imagine what it's like at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Like, that'd be even more hectic, I'd imagine. Or I wouldn't know, but just looking at it and just thriving off that atmosphere, it's amazing.
Yeah. What have you made of some of the studio efforts to try and do exactly what you just said? A bit of style and a bit of class. Like the World Boxing Super Series. They did quite a good job with the Bradis thing. I don't know if you saw that. And then obviously the Top Rank card, the Maloney's have been without crowds. What have you made of that? Those productions?
I think obviously it's not a perfect world at the moment. You know, the world's kind of all over the place, as you would say. And I know with the pandemic and with COVID, you can't have people in the facility. You can't have people watch except for the corner people, the judges, the ref, and the two fighters. And I think if a fight opportunity does come up, like the Maloney boys, they went over there and they got the opportunity to fight, and there is no crowd there, you have to suck it up, I guess. It's like, oh, okay, you know. But with prize fighting being professional boxing, the crowd is essential, because the crowd being there, they're there to watch these fights, you know. But since the world is since the world is not at its self anymore, I think it's going to be a while before they'll let people back in venues. Like, I probably don't see it till like mid next year, maybe. Like, that's just my opinion. I don't think they'll have people in proper venues, or maybe smaller venues, till like mid next year, because there's still, you know, cases in Victoria, there's still cases in the UK, there's still cases all around the world, but there's just slowly dropping, but they're not dropping fast enough. So even like when the Maloney boys went over and fought on Top Rank, like that experience alone is through the roof. But it is sad to see where you'd go back and you'd watch like a Floyd Mayweather fight or something like that, and you'd see the crowd absolutely pumping of people going absolutely mayhem. And then now you look at it and it's just a completely different world now. It's like people have evaporated. Like, there's nobody there. Like, it's like who's actually there to witness and watch this, other than if you're on a live stream, you know?
Yeah, I don't like it. I went for a drink after, because we had big fight before in Latvia. Then went to the greatest fight after, and we were in a bar. So I kind of forgot that while I was watching it, because everyone was going crazy. But it's funny what you say. You were saying you got such a buzz from the Dillian White. It seems like you're craving more of the crowd rather than getting rid of it altogether. Yeah, for you personally. Obviously, everyone is different. What do you think of Jason's chances against Naoya Nui? What do you think about that?
I think if you can get in there, and I think I saw a write-up before saying, like, you know, if Inoue has a bad night, then it's going to be all in Jason's favor. You know, Inoue's a classy fighter. Like, you know, he's a good fighter, but he got, my personal opinion, he really did show that he is human at the end of the day, because someone like Donaire in the Super Series, when they fought, Donaire's, you know, not out of his time yet, but he's older, and Donaire showed that he's still has just as much world class as people who are my age or even a bit older than me, you know, like, and I know that in a way obviously was in the favour and he obviously won the fight, but looking at how Donaire squared up with him at points and would actually fight with him and then hit him with that left hook and he cut him open. It was the first time you seen, in a way, hurt and worried, almost in a point where he's never been cut before, so it was a foreign feeling. And I think Jason, with the heart and the grit and the ability he's got, if he puts it on in a way, I think he's got a really, really good chance. Really, really good chance. Especially, and to win that fight, that'd be amazing for Australian boxing. Amazing, you know? And like I said, in a way, having that night with Donaire, obviously he won the fight. He ended up putting Donaire down. But Donaire rose to the occasion. He got back up and they went the rest of the fight. And in a way, really had to dig deep for that. You know, he used his boxing ability to help him along the fight. But Jason as well, when he was earlier on in the Super Series against I forget his name now. When he fought for the IBF, but he ended up going the decision but lost. But he showed that he went Rodriguez. He went the entire fight, 12 rounds, with him, but didn't back off. And then when it comes to the 11th and 12th, he was the stronger fighter. Yeah. So it shows that Jason's really got that grit, where I've never seen in a fight yet where he's had to bring that grit out or bring something out where it's like, all right, this is where I need to work now. Other than when he was with Donaire, he showed, all right, I've been hurt, I've got to back off and be smart. Because Donaire can still punch, you know, and Donaire's probably one of the most versatile fighters still today, you know, other than back in the day when he fought like Vic Darchinyan, you know, like him and Vic Darchinyan had some awesome fights. And I really do think Jason's got an awesome... I've got all belief in Jason to win. I do. I really do have all belief in Jason. And I think that even if, in a way, comes out strong, I think Jason will still be able to... If he can pick his shots and be smart, I think he's got a really good chance.
Well, brilliant. Yeah. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Why not? Well, Mr. England... Love that last name, by the way. It's been an absolute pleasure, man. Picking your brain on all sorts of things. I've been enjoying watching you. I'm quite excited about you. You're willing to fight anyone. So yeah, I think there's going to be some big things coming up for you. So yeah, thank you so much, man. We're going to get you back on, and look after yourself.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you again for the time.